Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with Darius again. Deal with it. I mean, if you don't want to deal with me and Darius, you can click off, but I find it we're funny together, so here we are. So today's video is entitlement. You ready, Darius?
I'm ready here.
So there's 4 stories. Some of them, they're kind of fairly short if I read them quickly, but not quick enough where I misread words. But they're kind of like, how could you be this entitled? So the first one I'm gonna read, there is no like actual name for it because it's not off Reddit. It's someone posted this on Facebook. Are you ready to read what it is?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So the first one goes. Here, I gotta read it off my iPad. Do I have any attorney friends on here that want a easy case and want to get rich with me? The Chevron on blank avenue, it's blocked out for reasons, ruined my car and they are refusing to pay for it. I always buy the cheapest gas and I accidentally put diesel in my car because it wasn't clearly marked and it was the least expensive option. My car made it 2 blocks before it started jerking back and forth, causing me to sidesweep a car. I told the police what happened, and they still ticketed me and said I was to blame for the accident, which is absolutely ridiculous. The gas station is to blame for all of this. The pumps at gas stations are confusing, especially when you're in a hurry and on a budget. This is their fault, and I want to sue their asses off for the damages they caused and all the emotional stress I've been under since the accident. My life hasn't been the same since November 12th of 2021, and they need to pay for that. Let me know if you're an attorney and want in on this. You know what's wrong with all of this? First off, where she first went wrong with telling her story. It wasn't clearly marked. Last time I checked, there's like 89, I think it's like 89 and 87 that are black, right? I don't know what the other number is. So there's like 89 and another number that's black. That's normal gas. The black numbers are normal gas. And then they have it green for diesel and a completely different number. And it's on the ones I've been to are labeled diesel. Or if it's not on the actual button, it's above it that says diesel. So it is clearly marked. You know what I mean?
They also make it color-coded.
Yeah, it's color-coded. Like I said, there's like 2 blacks and then like a green, if I remember correctly.
Sometimes it's green, sometimes it could be red.
Yeah, for me in Florida, it's green. So if you're watching this near Florida, you know it's green. But, that's where she first went wrong. It is marked. You just didn't look. And sitting here saying the pumps at gas stations are confusing, especially when you're in a hurry and on a budget. It's great you're on a budget, but still.
What does it have to do with?
But if you're in a hurry, obviously you're going to make a mistake. But even then, you should have noticed the mistake right away. Especially if you grabbed. Especially because I know, depending on where you live, for the diesel, the actual handle and the nozzle of the diesel is either green or red.
Yeah, it's always the opposite. It's always a different color
than the normal gas. So you can't sit there and say that it was confusing and it's their fault. No, you chose the wrong one. There is, like my mom, I read this to my mom and she was like, there is no case. Which is true, there is no quick case. You fucked up. We were talking about gas earlier. And like, because gas prices are way up. But, yeah. I applaud this police officer who still ticketed her and said she was to blame for the accident. Because the cop is right. And I love how she was like, the emotional stress I've been under since the accident. Yeah, it's only emotional because you caused it. So what's your take on that?
She's at fault. I mean,
Yeah.
at least she wasn't that much of in a rush if she's like,
I know what I did was wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I'm stuttering because I was like, it's so stupid. But like, it's...
Yes. So how I'm looking at it, legitimately, it doesn't even give me a name. It just says the name Karen. And then obviously the
That's
chef.
enough right there. That is enough. Karen.
Yeah. Basically, she's a Karen because she's trying to blame the gas station for something they didn't do. Because I know, like, in some states, I think it's up north. I want to say it's New Jersey, but I can be completely wrong. Like, I saw a TikTok, and they're like, in New Jersey, we don't pump our own gas. And I was like, what do you mean you don't pump your own gas? Apparently, in some northern state, you don't pump your own gas. Someone pumps it for you. I don't know what state, but I think it was like New Jersey or something. I can be completely wrong. So I was like, so for me to hear that and be like from the South where you pump your own damn gas, it's like someone pumps your gas for you. Obviously, you give them a tip for pumping your gas. Like, don't be a bitch. Tip them. They did something you could easily do yourself.
Yeah, the states are New Jersey and Oregon.
There you go. But I think it was actually in New Jersey. So, but like, if she was from New Jersey and someone else pumped the gas into her car, yeah, then she can sit there and say, you did this to my car. Because most diesel cars will even tell you on the lid of your gas cap, it will even tell you what your car takes. If it's a diesel, it will read diesel on there.
That's true.
So, moving on to Reddit posts. This one is, how to ruin your life. I actually read this.
That sounds a little dark, but okay.
It's dark, actually. It's pretty dark. But it gets worse as I go. So, you ready?
Always.
So it goes, so about 10 months ago, a guy, so this was actually posted 8 months ago, so 8 months ago, then 10 months ago for this, if you want to track it. So it's March now. So it goes, so about 10 months ago, a guy goes down outside a strip mall store, has a medical alert bracelet on about a heart condition. Paramedics get called, which arrive quickly. Thanks first responders. They showed up in a 4-door pickup with bed shell, a fire engine, red, flashing lights, and sirens. Fire department and paramedics all over the truck. They jump out and start hooking this guy up to blood pressure cuff, sticking the heart monitor pads to him, etc. If you don't know what those signs are, the heart condition, he's clearly having a heart attack. You can die from a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you didn't know what that was, that's someone having a heart attack. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Karen rolls up behind the paramedic's truck and starts screaming. The truck cut her off at the intersection with lights and sirens. Then she demands the paramedics look at her as she melts down while he is starting CPR on the victim. The paramedic is ignoring her entirely, but has to get something from the truck. She blocks his way and gets moved aside. As he goes to the truck, this is where Karen pulls out pepper spray, hoses the standing paramedic directly in the face, but she's not done. And by the way, I'm reading this word for word. I hope you know that. She sprays a second paramedic on the ground, and just for the trifecta, hoses down the heart attack victim screaming, he is too young to have a heart attack. I took it as my cue to remove her pepper spray and hold on to her with others until the police arrive. Like, this shit went from like, oh my god, someone's having a heart attack to like chaos. But again, it gets worse. It gets worse. Still, others are trying to help with CPR while some try to wash out the eyes of the paramedics. Police arrive. Karen goes immediately into handcuffs and then attempts to bite/kick police. which results in getting hogtied and her shirt pulled over her face, at which time she starts screaming rape.
Of course she does.
Again, once it still gets worse. And the kicker, when police arrested her, she starts with, "Do you know who I am?" It's like a Karen saying now. Do you know who I am? I normally say that to people who think they know me. It's like, do you know who I am? Like, I don't think you do.
Yeah, if you feel that's like a question, you don't go on
like this one is more like, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
I can see where that one went. Yes, I'm assuming how she said it. And, okay. Results are 2 counts of aggravated assault with weapon on paramedics, 2 counts of assault on police, 1 account of aggravated assault with weapon on the heart attack victim, which survived, resisting arrest with violence. Luckily, the victim of all of this, like the heart attack person, survived this. I think that's the only good thing that comes out of this. Because again, I've already read this. Like, it started intriguing me and I read it. Normally when I grab one of these, like, Reddit stories, I don't read them. I read them based off the title. She also is being, to go on, she's also being sued by the heart attack victim for $10 million, which she apparently has. Her criminal trial is coming up. I bought a new suit for it, and my old ass will be there with bells on. Since the entire event is on video from 2 cameras, who knows how many cell phones, it will be interesting to see what her high-powered legal team is going to cook up, but ultimately I hope she will be convicted. Facing a possible 65 years, but practically will only get about 10 maximum, if any prison time. As a side note, her husband is a bank vice president and refused to make her bail. Took her 13 days to get her family to bail her out. I'll try to update when the trial happens. There is only one update. The only update I have is from a firefighter/EMT. She apparently made a large donation to the fire department, did rehab, and got off after successfully completing rehab. Some kind of trial diversion program. The poster that said she would blame it on drug/alcohol cocktail was seemingly correct. Is that common? I never heard of that before, but then again, I don't know many people that do crap like this. What do you think, Darius?
That's I hope I never meet a Karen. I swear. I have met one, but I just hope I don't run into any more ever in my lifetime.
So one person commented, you ready to hear what the comment is?
What's the comment?
She has money. She will never put a foot on any prison/correctional facility. At most, she faces some months of community service, which she will bail on. A week of anger management, which she will attend 2 sessions tops, and perhaps house arrest, which will be lifted after a year tops. All that will cost top dollar, and the heart attack victim will be happy to get an extra $100K, if at all. That's the sad truth of capitalism. There's no justice because the ones lacking money get screwed, and the ones with money have the powers, those connections, to bail on anything they want.
Sounds fucking about right.
And they kind of go into an argument about one person, I don't know, she did assault some cops, and in the hierarchy of the justice system, that trumps just above everything. Someone who has a deleted account said, you'd be surprised. One of my biggest gripes with the BLM movement was their focus on police, who are simply on level of a justice system which is rife with corruption, racism, and classism all the way down. So we're so focused on cops while ignoring judges and prosecutors who are often just as corrupt and more protected than cops. If this woman is the wife or daughter of a prominent judge in the city, she will totally walk. I understand why everyone is so focused on cops. They are the ones in these videos killing people. But I don't want people to lose track of just how deep the corruption goes.
I mean, yeah, but I guess they were not as much corrupt as, like, the other countries, though.
Yeah. And another person said, depends. If the husband is the one with the money, not her, and he is fed up with her actions already, see, he didn't bail her out, then probably she'll not get the best lawyer, maybe only the state provided one. Could stay in prison while husband handles the divorce. Again, I don't even know what the verdict truly came to.
I would love to know though.
Yeah.
I bet she would go to.
Because, I mean, I know that the only update was that she did donate a large portion of money to the fire department. But guess who money that was? It was her husband's.
Of course.
I'm glad she did rehab, but I'm pretty sure her team lied and said she was on some kind of drugs and shit just to blame it on something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, it's not impossible.
I mean,
that's in most cases, like with some rich folks.
Yeah, they lie and say, "Oh, it was drugs, it was alcohol. I was not in the right mind because I was doing these drugs."
Yeah, or they'll say, I didn't mean any of that because
I was under the influence." You sound pretty bad, but
or they'll lie about them being crazy. They'll lie about it.
Yeah, one person said, "I can already imagine her in court. Your Honor, you don't understand. The ambulance cut me off, and that boy faked a heart attack. I'm the victim here. I had to miss my nail appointment." Oh, and so it continues. "And those nasty cops messed up my hair," in a whining voice, "and one of my nails got broken." Cue crocodile tears. "Oh yes, how dare they? It's my right to pepper spray someone who's dying, and I'm the one suffering for it." And then the person commented, I'm sadly sure that she would spin it as if she were the victim to friends and family. I hope her husband sets them straight." Another person commented, "Judge, guilty. I sentenced you to 65. The bitch would be the Karen. Also, I'm rich. Judge, days of community service. I'm so jaded. For the love of good God, please prove me wrong." And another person commented, "I laugh, but no, you're probably right. Remember that Karen who tried to kidnap the guy's son because he was a different race and she got a slap on the wrist because she was vaguely related to the police or something?" And then another person commented, "I think you guys were forgetting the effects of public opinion. A woman who broke traffic rules. When you see/hear the sirens, laws say get out of their way, yet she claims they cut her off, and then actually attacked not only people who were trying to save someone, but then someone who needed to be saved. The Floyd incident had the cop convicted of 3 different charges on killing someone, with the only dead person being Floyd, who was in no case a wealthy person. This isn't a case where the rich, less powerful person actually attempted to appear to be a law-abiding citizen or even acted the least bit diplomatical." Which, they're correct, but I kind of like the joke that they had going on. But no, this person is correct. I'm glad the cops, or at least the cop who did kill Floyd, did get convicted. He full-on murdered that person. He full-on murdered Floyd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember reading the reports.
Like,
Back when
well, be in Florida, because they're showing actual video of the cop kneeing the neck of Floyd.
Yeah.
Like, they were on his neck. And people were trying to justify, well, if he can say he can't breathe, then he can obviously breathe. No. That's
obviously, these people haven't had a knee on their neck before.
Yeah. And your knee should never go to the neck. On your back? Yeah, fine. But on your neck? No. Okay, let's move on to the next one. You ready for the next one?
Oh, yeah. I always love it.
My mom asks entitled mother to let go of my hair. Refused and got her life ruined. I want to say most of these... No, okay, the next one doesn't say her life ruined. Or how to ruin your life. So the story goes, when I was a kid, I never cut my hair. No matter what, I never cut... They repeated themselves. No matter what, I have never cut my hair. So I had very long, pretty, dirty blonde hair. And as a kid, a lot of people would ask to touch it. And I was fine with it as long as they had my permission. which is very evident. You should always ask before touching anyone. So when I was 6, my mom took me to a grocery store to buy something for dinner that night. We got to the store and my mom got the stuff she needed, but was missing the bread from the other side of the store. She sent me to go get it since I was fast and small. When I got to the bread, I picked out the brand we would usually buy, and at the time I really liked baguettes and other types of bread. So when I saw the baguettes, I totally forgot that my mom was waiting for me and grabbed a loaf and headed back to my mom. So when I was heading back to my mom from the bread aisle, I felt someone pull on my hair. And not gently, no, they yanked it. They pulled so hard, I thought my hair was going to come out, and I cried so hard my mom heard me across the store. It turns out it was a kid about my age who wanted to touch my hair. So his mom, and I say his 40-year-old mother, pulled my hair so her freaking kid could touch it. My mom rushed over and told the lady to let go of me. This is basically how the conversation went. So EM is entitled mom. M is my mom, meaning the person's mom. And me is the actual writer. So M, let my daughter go. EM, my child just wanted to touch her hair. She has very pretty hair. Me, she pulled on my hair. It hurts. M, you could have just asked. You can't just pull kids' hair. I can call the police for assault. M, you are harassing me. All I did was let my son touch your hair. I can call the police on you for harassing me and my child. Firstly, I am not harassing you. You assaulted my child. And secondly, you can call the police. You will only be making things worse for yourself. As it turns out, the entitled mom called the police and they took both our statements. The entitled mother had given an over-exaggerated and dramatic report, telling the police, as we would find out later, that I had given consent for her kid to touch my hair, and my mom had come out of nowhere and started harassing the entitled mother. My mother had given the police the actual report from her side. I had been asked to give a report, but I was too scared and tired from the experience to say much. They checked the security footage and saw what actually happened. I don't remember the next part, so bear with me here. My mom decided to press charges and sued the entitled mom for assault, and she was sent to jail for 6 months and fined for providing a false police report as the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Like, good for this mom. And I'm kind of glad that the entitled mom called the police. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are. You still have to give consent. And don't lie about it. Because it is an assault. I mean, this person was 6. Because she goes, when I was 6, and then his 40-year-old mother.
Yeah.
Just so she could touch the hair. Who sits there and says, can I touch your hair? I mean, I get it if it was like a cat, but especially in a grocery store. Like, really? And I get it if her hair's like soft, but I'm still a person who's like, no, I'm good. I don't need to touch your hair. I believe you.
Yeah, there's also, back in high school too, it was always like, some people were would ask to touch their hair because either their hair was like silky or whatever.
Yeah.
That shit.
One person commented, entitled parents always think they are right. Lucky, the law sorted her out. Then another person commented under that, it's always funny how often they lie that they did things properly. Like in this case, asking permission to touch OP's hair. They told the police they received permission when they didn't, implying they knew the right way to go about this interaction but chose not to. That's always baffled me. Another person commented, it's just a minor indiscretion in their lives that are otherwise impeccable. They know the right thing to do, but they've been doing the right thing all the other times, so this one time it's okay to just do what they want, and there shouldn't be any consequences because of their history of good behavior. Another person commented, or they know the right way, but it is inconvenience for others to uphold a consistent trend of consequences for the entitled, that the entitled realize they can get away with being garbage people.
that I can understand.
That's someone commented. It's quite long. Because lying and blowing things out of proportion has worked so far. Do something stupid, throw up a fuss, lie to authority, he said. She said, no consequences. Comes in functional cameras that actually get a viable image and sometimes audio are a new technology. Even 5 years ago, if a store even had cameras, they got terrible grainy images or would be near consistently in a state of in repair. The technology is now cheap enough, durable enough, and effective enough that here is the camera footage. Actually, something that can come from a minor incident that previously police would rather do. He said, she said. Gave everyone a warning and let it slide. And not only that, most people nowadays have cameras on their phone.
Yeah.
Like,
there's fucking glasses that have cameras on them.
Glasses, cups, they're not really fake phone chargers. They will actually charge your phone, but they're cameras too. Like, there's, like, anything can be a camera. So when next time you're in a hotel room, make it dark. Your camera on your cell phone can actually detect the infrared light on the camera. So, you ready for the next entitled person?
Yep.
Entitled sister-in-law stole our baby name. Now she regrets it. I didn't read this, but by the title, I was like, you know what? This might be interesting. It's quite...
So, a baby name or baby name?
A baby name.
Oh.
So I'm guessing this sister was pregnant and her sister... This person was pregnant and her sister were pregnant at the same time. So I'm guessing OP told the sister what they were thinking about naming their baby.
Mm-hmm.
So then the sister probably gave birth first and stole their baby name. So now she regrets it. Let's see why. So it says, hey y'all, long time lurker and all that. This is a throwaway account. To cut to the chase, my wife and I spent 4 years trying to get pregnant before the wrong side of 35. We are currently 33 respectively now and are blessed with a wonderful infant son. My wife has a younger half-sister that she has been, I don't know what Elsie means, with for some time. The woman is entitled and toxic and also her mother's golden child. We've refused to let her or my mother-in-law in the house since they both blatantly tried to make off with my wife's jewelry box a couple of years ago. The box contained a lot of valuable jewelry inherited from my wife's grandmother. Said jewelry is now in a safety deposit box as per my suggestion. My wife and I had nearly given up trying to conceive when it suddenly happened, and we were ecstatic. After we found out we were having a boy, we started looking into names. I ended up suggesting the name of my son, my Scottish grandfather, and my wife loved it, so that's the name we settled on. But we made the mistake of posting about it on social media. Well, no surprise to the stereotype in this mess. My sister-in-law was pregnant too, and was months further along than my wife, and also having a boy. She decided to claim my grandfather's name for her own son, and not just for the first name, but the middle name too. We called her pissed over what she was doing, and she smugly told us there's nothing we can do about it, which she was sort of right. There was nothing we could do about it legally, as it's still not a crime to steal plain baby names. We realized that drama was exactly what my sister-in-law wanted, and she thought that by taking the name for herself, we'd not be able to use it. I laughed and told her that while what she did was dirty and underhanded, we would keep our chosen name, and she could just deal with it, whether she decides to go through with copying us or not. Well, my sister-in-law's baby daddy called me and said I was an unreasonable dick for still wanting to use the name after sister-in-law claimed it. Technically, you can't claim a name because they claimed it and you stole it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no...
LC stands for lost cause.
Thank you. I was trying to think, I was like... But yeah, that would make sense. But continue. I love other people's drama. It makes me feel better. Like I said. So wanting to use the name after my sister-in-law claimed it. I said she claimed nothing, and since we couldn't own the name, then neither could they. Before he ended the call, he threatened me by saying I'd be sorry if we didn't change the name. Then he hung up before I could respond. Months later, sister-in-law has a healthy baby boy and names him my grandfather's name. We did not show up for the birth, both because of the pandemic and because we simply didn't care to be there. Sister-in-law called us, wanted congratulations, but we told her we simply didn't care. And that if she was still insisting we change our baby's name, then she'd be in for some big disappointment because we were not. Sister-in-law demanded I put my wife on the phone, but it was already on speaker and my wife spoke and said she agrees with me entirely. We weren't changing the name. Sister-in-law hung up on us, but soon started sending emails with text walls of names, even suggesting similar ones. I responded back that the name was from my grandfather, and that's why we were not changing it. She shut up, and we didn't hear from her again until after our own son was born. What's sad is this is his sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even her own grandfather.
Nope.
That's what makes it worse. And you'd think the brother would be like, yeah. Or like, I guess it would be the wife's sister would be like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm taking your husband's grandfather's name.
Yeah.
But nope. So to continue. 2 months later, we were blessed with our son. He came out perfect, and we named him just as we'd intended. Well, no surprise, my sister-in-law called us a few days after the birth to scream in our ears that we copied her son's name. I pointed out she was the real copycat since she had no family ties to the name, and we did. Give me a sec. Oh my god. Then go. The cat's a pain in the butt. But let me continue. Family, who was it? Familial ties to the name, and we did. And anyone who looks at our family trees could see that. Then my wife spoke and said after the attempted theft of her grandmother's jewelry, she no longer considered sister-in-law her sister and would have nothing to do with her nephew either. Good for her. For months, we were bombarded with messages and emails from my wife's side of the family. Half were on our side after finding out the whole story. The other half were not. And sister-in-law's baby daddy, true to his word, showed up at my door to make me sorry. I'm not sure what his plan was, but I pretty much towered over him. I'm 6'1" and well-built, firm, regular exercise, and 3 trips to the gym a week. He, on the other hand, was very skinny and about 5'6", with a baby face that was badly hidden by a slim beard. I told him my house has cameras and to get off my property and never come back. He just yelled a few obscenities at me and drove off in his beat-up old car. This dude was going to try to beat up OP, but realized the mistake he made.
Oh, yeah.
OP's like 6'1". And he exercised, like, what were you gonna do? Like, a punch to him is like nothing.
I mean, he still could have probably tried something. Would he be successful? Probably not.
But I'm pretty sure OP would let him throw the first punch, because if his house really does have cameras, he could show the police, he hit me first. I just finished it.
But then, also, he did say to get off his property, and the guy was stolen his property, then you have full rights to defend the property.
In the state of Florida, if someone is on your property and you believe they have a weapon, you still have the right to shoot them and get away with it. Now, am I for this? No, not really, but if you know they have a weapon on you and you do kill them in self-defense, then yeah. Some people use that law, be like, well, they had a weapon, and then, like, no, they didn't. It's like, well, I thought they did. They were on my property. But let me continue, because this thing is long. I mean, I'm almost done. But it's still pretty long. Sister-in-law and mother-in-law called us from a different number to yell at me for making sister-in-law's baby daddy feel emasculated. I didn't even threaten the man. Just told him to leave and not come back. And if he didn't want to feel emasculated, then he shouldn't have come knocking. Then they tried to bring up the issue of the baby name again and demanded we change our son's name as he's so young. So there's still plenty of time to do that. We held our ground and told them that they were bonkers to still think they were in the right after they copied our choice of name just to try and get one over on us. I said sister-in-law didn't even name her son out of love, but out of spite just to try and stick it to my wife for no good reason. Then my wife called them both out on the way she was treated growing up, how entitled sister-in-law and mother-in-law have always been, and how she was glad to leave them far behind, and she wants nothing from them, and they won't have anything from us. That left sister-in-law sobbing, and mother-in-law called me a royal bastard before hanging up the phone.
Yeah. Emotional damage.
What's NC? If Elsie is lost cause... Are you looking it up for me?
Now I'm trying to think.
Well, it goes that...
Reread the sentence with it.
Well, I didn't even read the sentence yet. So it goes, that was NC again for a little while till sister-in-law called us again sometime later to bitterly tell us we'd won.
Nonchalant?
Maybe. She and her baby daddy got in a huge fight and he left. He was apparently very sore that sister-in-law didn't let him even give their son a middle name from his family. And he said he was sick of the bullshit and wanted his son named after him and not some guy he wasn't even related to. Sister-in-law finally caved and they got the baby's birth certificate reissued with a completely new name, which cost sister-in-law around $500, or so she claimed. Sister-in-law then demanded we at least compensate her for the name change, plus another $100 for the emotional damage. As now she's going to have to get used to calling her son by a different name. We laughed and said this would have never happened if she hadn't stolen our baby name to begin with, and we didn't owe her anything. Since then, we've been NC... Oh, no contact.
Okay.
So, since then, we've been no contact with sister-in-law and mother-in-law. But my father-in-law, who's a very nice man and divorced from mother-in-law for obvious reasons, would come by often and love his grandson. From what he and other relatives told us, the situation between sister-in-law and her baby daddy was pretty tumultuous, but we don't care. Not our monkeys, not our circus. I want to know how to fucking say this word. Hold on. There's still some words I cannot fucking pronounce.
Right.
Like, sometimes it's like a word I've never even fucking heard. That tells you how the educational system works, right?
Definitely.
When you don't even know a fucking word. See if I can find, like... Oh, the word I was trying to say. Tumultuous, I guess. It just means very loud and noisy. Basically a screaming match. I would have just said it was pretty, like, basically a screaming match. But like I said, but we don't care. Not our monkeys, not our circus. So what do you think?
So that's a lot of what kind of family drama? It kind of reminds me more of like one of those fucking reality TV shows, kind of.
Right? But what's sad is this probably did actually happen. So, OP does respond to some comments. So the first one is, this was very satisfying to read. Sister-in-law sounds awful. OP responds, stop trying to leave me. She's completely spoiled, toxic and petty woman. Her cousin and mother too. So we want nothing to do with the lot of them. And then the same guy commented, who OP responded to, says, sounds like y'all are better for cutting them out. They fucked with the wrong ones and lost. OP comments, pretty much, but it never needed to be a competition to begin with.
I mean, that person's not wrong. It doesn't need to be a competition. I mean, if it's There's over 1 million names. Can't you just name something? Name the child something similar to the grandfather's name. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly the name.
Yeah, but so people commented saying that has happened to them. So then OP commented, if my wife and I ever have another child, we'll likely use decoy names. Curious though, how did Tina take to being duped? Yeah, so he's responding to someone who got duped. Bing, stop. Then someone comments, just curious, but this sounds like your wife, sister-in-law, and mother-in-law are from an Asian country by chance. OP says, no, just plain American Karen family drama. It's really not a cultural issue. And then the person said, well, in that case, fuck them. I'm trying to find more OP, like, comments more, too. But I think that's all he commented, too. But again, a lot of people are commenting how the sister-in-law and some other family members are, like, a lost cause. Or telling stories of, like, that has happened to them.
Yeah, that's a different lost cause for them.
And some people are even putting, like, baby name links, like, where you can use the same name but just spell it differently. That's mainly what the comments are.
Well, that's you know, like, have the father's name, but have it like similar, like, so instead of like.
But what's wrong is that the sister-in-law has no affiliation with this name. It's not even her family. Like, it's only family by being an in-law.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Like, it's her grandfather-in-law, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you gotta know ties. You have to listen to that the name.
Yeah, like this dude, like if you go, like he said, where is it? Right here. I pointed out she was the real copycat since she had no familial ties to the name, and we did. Yeah, because it's his grandfather.
Right.
Like, if you look at the family tree, you're gonna see that his grandfather's name is the same name as their baby. And I'm guessing his grandfather is passed. Yeah. So he's trying to honor someone that really meant something to him. And then this sister-in-law just sat there and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take the name to try to one up. Like, that's what's sad. So, any last words about this?
They need a family therapist.
Nah. I'm glad they do, like, no contact. That's the best. Like, don't talk to them. Oh, yeah, and someone also commented, I completely missed over this. One person said, her poor kid. I feel bad for the sister-in-law's kid. Yeah, like I said, most of the comments are legitimately how... Oh, Elsie is actually low contact to no contact.
Damn, so I get that all wrong. My bad, people.
That's okay. Some people, you'd have to be on Reddit long enough to remember everything, but to actually remember all of the, abbreviations... And slangs, you'd have to be on here, 24/7. And I'm really not on here 24/7. But I know MIL and SIL, it's sister-in-law and mother-in-law. You should know that. Or FIL, which is father-in-law. Some of them you can kind of figure out real quick.
Common sense.
Yeah, sister-in-law, mother-in-law. I mean, I wouldn't say I'd sit here on Reddit all the time. I actually listen to some Reddit stories from other YouTubers. That I will admit. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't see what they're reading. So, I wouldn't know that LC is low contact. I mean, I should have. And then NC is no contact. So, Well, that's the last story. So if you enjoyed it, please leave a like or a thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe and turn on the bell notification. And I'll see y'all in the next video.